Coach MK. First of all, congratulations to all the ladies that just finished Rocky Raccoon 50K and 50 fucking miles. Yay, you! I wanted to recap what you did and remind you that what you did was fucking amazing. And Kate Walton, if ever you doubt it, you just YOLO'd a 50K 18 months after hip surgery. Okay. If ever you doubt it, go back to those numbers, those screenshots that I took circling the numbers. You don't have to understand them, but you need to believe that I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, because I did a lot of work there and did a lot of math with my finger on a touch screen, and I wouldn't have done that if I didn't mean it and I didn't love you. So, wanted to give you guys, first, say congratulations and make sure everyone knows exactly how proud I am of you, which is really fucking proud. And second, I want to talk about sort of what things are going to look like moving ahead. So I feel very good about your race reports based on what I didn't hear, okay? What I was looking for and why I keep asking you over and over and over. How are you? How are you? Now how are you? Now how are you? Now how are you? There are some tells that are commonly thrown around from people that YOLO distances longer than their body is ready to cover. Those include, but are not limited to, stiffness in the thoracic spine. I can't sit up straight, or my neck hurts. So it's like, how do you feel? My neck really hurts. I know you're probably doing this. And if you're doing that, it's probably because your hips hurt. So the things that I was looking for, the things I was concerned about, I've not heard any of them, which is a good sign that moving forward, this is really what we need to be focusing on. So I know everybody only looks about pace. I'm looking at effort level, and I'm looking at how prepared you were to cover the distance at hand. Since I haven't heard any of the usual complaints, the tells that maybe you're a little underprepared going into this, and if you had been, rightfully so, we only had 12 weeks, and the way you guys talk about the strength training in your training logs would have me think that you were never doing it instead of only doing 2 a day on a good day as opposed to 3, and I did damnation in the mornings and you wouldn't have time at night. Who gives a shit? You got it done. But though you guys had set my expectations so low that I was not expecting what happened. And what happened was, like, you were prepared for the distance. And remember, I say this all the time and I can't say it enough. First we train to cover the distance, then we hone for speed. Okay? And what we're going to be doing at 3 days at the fair is such a different animal. There will probably be not many tree roots to trip over. Yay! Not on the course anyway. So be careful. It depends on how tricky Beth Preddy wants to get with where she puts her espresso machine. If she makes you jump over tree roots to get there, then maybe you'll just have to do without espresso. Oh my gosh. So that is like the worst that could happen really at this location, as I understand it. And Beth is a sweetheart. I'm not worried. So what we're going to be focusing on in the upcoming months are as follows. We're going to spend the rest of February getting used again to being on hard surfaces and feeling that spring back into your legs. That spring back is what people fear, as though running on that's what's really bad for your joints. And like that impact, actually, if you're strong enough and efficient enough and smart about what you're doing, you can use it to your advantage in a road race. I don't like trails because trails don't have spring back. I want responsive, like when I want my shoes to be neutral, I always say I want a responsive shoe because I want to feel that impact as much as possible. Not saying that that's like what everyone should want, but it's a personal preference, and as you'll see, that is going to be helpful when you're out there and the longer that you're out there. So in order to facilitate that quick transition back to roads only, we're going to pull you off the trails entirely, knowing that 3 days at the fair is not the end goal for this year. It's just going to be an adaptation game. We can afford to go to a trail without adapted joints. You'll be okay. We cannot afford to go to 3 days at the fair without road adapted joints. It will not be okay. All right? So we're going to achieve this functionality by the following. We're going to drills. Nothing. You're going to do more drills than you know what to do with in the month of February. And we're also going to be introducing the Insanity Run. And what I mean by an Insanity Run is we're going to be preparing all of your joints, tendons, ligaments, whatnot, to move continuously, not just doing one function, but doing that one function on one loop. So March is going to bring threshold work. Don't call it speed work. Don't call it speed work. Don't call it speed work unless you want me to tell you off. And I know you don't want that, because y'all ain't really seen my bad side yet. You'll get it real quick if you come at me talking about speed work. We are not doing speed development. Speed development is never appropriate in a training cycle for something longer than maybe a 10K. Even then it's questionable, because we can achieve that aim through strength, much more so through speed. But order of operations, we're going to be doing threshold work. What does that mean? Now that you are prepared to cover the distance, there are a couple of figures, notably aerobic decoupling, that I'm going to be looking at, making sure that you are equally fit on the last half of a run as you are on the first half of a run. And you don't need to worry so much about how I go about it. If you have questions, I'm happy to tell you which levers we're pulling and when. But it's going to come from doing a lot of threshold work. Threshold work, you've already been doing some. It's like when I told you to run 6 minutes really hard uphill. I don't care how much distance you cover. I care that you get your heart rate up, that you're panting, that you almost want to vomit, and then you turn around and either jog or walk back downhill for 3 minutes and then do it again. That is threshold work. So where, if you think about it, like that's raising the roof, which is making everything that you do under the roof easier and more efficient. That's also how we up that. That's one of the levers we can pull to up your efficiency factor, the EF number, after you click the Analyze button. And again, there's no desirable number, but I want to see that number go up and stay up over the course of the workout. If you remember back in my previous role, people would be like, cardiac drift. I'd be like, nope, that's not what that is. Don't say that word. Don't say that word. You're using it incorrectly. My heart rate goes up over the course of a run, even though I'm the same pace. That's cardiac drift. I'm like, the fuck it is. It is not. Stop using these words. Read the fucking book start to finish before you come at me with these words. Telling me what you're like. Don't do my job. So that is kind of the kind of thing. That's a smattering of what you're going to hear if you come at me calling this speed work. This is threshold work. I'm not trying to get you faster. I'm trying to get you more efficient. I'm trying to get you more economical. All right? So, and even better running economy actually does lead to speed. That's the literal definition of running economy. It's like getting the same output for less work. Okay. So that is going to come from all the strength that we've been doing is going to start synthesizing into leg turnover with a lot of these drills. That's what they're for. You don't need to fatigue all your fast twitch muscles. Remember, you have fast twitch muscles in your butthole and in your vagina. So like just fast twitch work, it's not going to make you poop faster, and it's not going to, I don't want to know what you do in there, but it's not going to make anything in your vagina faster either. So don't focus on the fast twitch muscles. All we have to do is say hi to them, wake them up to recruit them, and that is what we do with the drills. We need to then, the ones that are recruited, we need to kind of get them, recruiting them to slow twitch muscles. That's right. We are converting fast twitch muscles to slow twitch muscles because that is what you need over time. And we're going to be doing that with threshold work because the more muscle fibers you have helping out, the more economical you become over time. April is going to bring a lot of dress rehearsal. This is what I call the situation runs, where I'm going to be like saying, okay, the weather is changing. I want you out there in it, figuring out what's going to be happening. As Julie can attest, and I apologize if I didn't prep you really well for this. We were already doing so much in the winter. It didn't make a lot of sense to add any of these complicated runs in over the holidays when it's so effing cold in Utah anyway, that and so dark that the idea of going back out, one, is demoralizing. Number two, you'd be missing stuff with your kids. And number three, the benefit would be limited because cold is cold in Utah in the winter. Just kind of like here. There's a temperature differential, but it's not a huge one. So what I mean by that is if you saw Julie towards the end of the race as she was getting increasingly tired, she looked great. You looked strong, Julie. This is not to denigrate what you were doing in any way. But as you expend energy over time, your body's ability to keep itself warm changes. So you might have felt fine at 4 o'clock and then the sun went down and that last hour and a half you were freezing or you were sweating or something changed. And it's like, I need a long sleeve shirt. No, the long sleeve shirt's too warm. But this is just right. You turn into Baby Bear. That's too hot. That's too cold. This is just right. So we're going to be identifying those situations and sending you out for a second run of the day, not specifically to get more mileage, but it's to get that feeling. How much does the temperature change when I'm tired, because if you're going to do a harder long run that morning, and then I'll send you back out for like 30 to 45 minutes, like trying to time it when the sun sets. So try to get half of this run in before the sun sets, and then half of this run in after the sun sets, so that you can feel that change coming and know you've done it enough that when it happens on the course of 3 days at the fair, you aren't totally shocked. Because I can tell you, hey, it's 50 degrees outside, but my first question is always going to be in the sun or in the shade. What's the real feel? You're not going to be battling like all of the elements, and we don't need to worry about that per se, but what we do know is that the sun is probably going to set before you finish. Sorry. Unless you decide to stop early. It's a 12-hour race. You can do whatever you want in that window. But when you're out there and the sun sets like it's supposed to do, what happens? Does 50 degrees go to 30 degrees? Does 50 degrees go to 45 degrees? It's less the fall and more about having been in that situation where you're running in one set of conditions that then change, which we're used to over time. Remember when I said that I help people find marathons, I want to find the ones with the most constant conditions throughout the race, the ones that won't be getting warmer and warmer and warmer the longer you're out there as the sun rises in races in the southern half of the United States. I prefer to go north where it tends to be a lot more stable. You're not going to have that option. I mean, you are northern in New Jersey, and it will be more constant based on where the sun's going to be in the sky in May and all that good stuff. This is the beginning, by the way, of a real trail open season, so it's a good time to be having this race. That said, the temperature might be constant throughout the day and then suddenly shift in the evening. So if you're going from like a 70-degree day and then the sun disappears, now it's more like 50 degrees. How does your body, when fatigued, respond to that 20-degree temperature drop? Do you need to add fuel to the fire? Do you need to put on a shirt? If so, what shirt? Because you probably don't want to be changing shirts, putting on the heavy one and being like, that's too heavy, give me the lighter one, and then needing the heavy one later and it's covered in sweat or it stinks and you're just like, I can't touch that. So it's not about having all the answers. It's about not freaking out it's not doing anything new on race day. That's really what it is. It's reducing the chances that you will be doing anything for the first time on race day, which for at least two of you is going to be the longest distance you've ever run up to that point till the next thing we do. Yay, season. So that is what the dress rehearsals are going to be, and during that time we're going to be increasing the insanity runs. I'll come down here in a minute. May is going to be a super short taper, a continuation of April, and that's when your race is. And then we're going to be going directly from there, because remember, my goal is to get you so strong for this 50-miler that you don't need a whole lot of time to recover, because we're going to be going there getting immediately back on the trails. Not all the time. We'll have to phase it back in a little bit so you don't totally lose your mind, because you will probably, not phenomenally so, and we don't want to guess like how fast, you will probably get faster over time on the road and then slow down again when I put you back on the trail. And I need to make sure that we're monitoring that mental component that will keep you motivated to do this thing in Vermont and not demoralized because you're afraid that you're losing everything that we built. You're not. Okay. So all that just to say, that's when we'll be doing different types of strength, way more drills, all of which are geared towards being more dominant on the trails the next time you get out there. You're also going to be on much more technical trails than what you had to do this time. Like, yes, you saw a lot of tree roots at Rocky Raccoon. You're going to be facing more complexities, to say the least. So we're going to have to complexify your training too, and that's fine. It'll be fun. I'm going to try to keep this as fun as possible. But what Julie is doing right now is, the way Julie's training plan has looked for the 2 weeks before this race is about as bad as it's really going to get for everybody else. Her runs were way longer for sure. Her total time suck was greater. We're just going to use that time more effectively and more efficiently. And then none of the 2-a-days that I'm going to throw in are going to be egregious. It's not like you're going to be doing 2-a-days 5 days a week. It's just going to be, hey, let's go out because then again, if we're only doing something 1 day a week with a lesson to learn, something's going to happen that day and you're not going to get out at sunset, and then you're going to freak out and be like, well, I did this on a Monday instead of a Saturday, so did I get the same benefit because I wasn't as tired at the end of my Monday run as I would have been after a long run, so I don't know that I got what I needed, and now I'm really worried, Coach MK, that I just totally blew this whole training cycle. And we need to cut all that off at the seams. So if you're getting 2 or 3 opportunities to have that during the week, you'll be familiar, or at least confident enough to say, you know what, my daughter's got a thing tonight, I really want to go, it happens at sundown, I think I got what I needed on Monday or Tuesday, or even better, I'm going to do it on Friday instead. And you remember truly, really and truly what we need to get out of some of these workouts so you're not freaking out about missing them. Because if you're freaking out about missing the workout, you're missing the point. All we need to do is learn the lesson. What does my body need, and how do my needs change over time? What are my needs at 6 a.m. versus 6 p.m., knowing that I've been moving continuously in between? What does 50 degrees feel at 6 a.m. before the sun has come up, before I've started working, versus 6 p.m. after the sun is set? My glucose stores are totally tapped, my joints are a little sore, I stink, and I am tired of running. Okay. So, some of the ways we're going to do that. In February, I'm going to go get this in your Training Peaks soon, but I want to make sure that everyone is fully recovered from this race before I put it in there. Because, let's say, based on what you're telling me, you feel ready to start it again on Wednesday, and I say, let's do it on Wednesday, and then after this flight, because if you tell me now, and I go put it in, you're like, yeah, Wednesday sounds great, but you wake up Wednesday morning, and you still got some creakiness, and you're like, I think I need to wait till Thursday. Then we've started this phase of the cycle with you psychologically feeling like you're behind or that I've had to change things. And I want to minimize that as much as possible while giving you a schedule you can actually make plans around. So with the first thing you really need to do, if you have not done this yet, now is a really good time to do it. I need you to go find half mile, 1K, or 1 mile loop. 1 mile loop is optimal, but if all you can get is a track, that's fine too. Run on the outer loop. Run always in the same direction on the outer loop. You're going to read advice from other places saying if you run on a track a lot, go this way and then go this way. And I'm like, that's not for you. That article was written for not you. You're paying me to work for you, and I'm telling you, run in the same direction over and over and over. Remember, the whole idea is that we get to this race so ready and so adapted that you're not doing anything new. And if I'm putting you out there and you're like, this really hurts, well, if it's the first time you've ever run one direction like this continuously, then I have failed in my job, or you have failed to execute the plan, and I don't fail. So when it comes to February, you're going to take that 1K, that half mile 1K or 1 mile loop, whatever you have, and we're going to be doing what it's called an insanity run, and that's going to be in your Training Peaks. It'll be denoted with a great big I in parentheses. That's how you know you've got an insanity run. We're going to be doing those 1 day a week, starting off with your long runs, and then increasing over time, Wednesday, Saturday, then Monday, Wednesday, the whole long run sandwich, and then every day, every run is an insanity run for the very short period we have in May leading up to your race. In between, you're going to see lots of recovery stride sandwiches. Those are not going away. You can choose to I encourage you, do those not on a loop while you can, for this reason. You're not getting ahead of anything other than burnout if you move faster than I encourage you to move. So those recovery stride sandwiches will be happening 2 days a week, and then as we get into a different phase of a different type of tired, then the recovery stride sandwiches will be appearing intermittently on Sundays. It's not that I'm going to have you running 7 days a week every single week, but yeah, there's some weeks that are designed to overtrain you and get you really tired, then ratchet it back into that so we can ratchet it back up again. And that is literally what training is. So some weeks will be longer and heavier, and then we'll back it right off. And in those weeks, you'll have 7 runs in a week, but there won't be huge numbers of those. And these these tertiary runs that we just kind of throw in there are going to be so short, you won't even care. 30 minutes, yeah, I can do that. But all your other runs are going to be so long that when you see a 30-minute recovery stride sandwich, you'll be like, oh yeah, I can do that in my sleep. Let's wait and do it this morning. So that is the very high level what we're going to be looking at, what we're going to be doing. The first series of drills I'm going to be putting together because you're going to be doing a very thorough warm-up. And I know it's cold where you are, but all of these warm-ups I'm going to have you do silly toes. I'm hoping you've been doing them. If you haven't, now is a really good time to start. You know what they are. You know what the movements are. I'm also going to be giving you hip openers, which is something I make I ask my high-level athletes to do, and they almost, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Anyone that's ever done a long run with me back in 2015, 2016, we were seen all over Denver lying down in parking lots randomly at 4 a.m. doing scorpions and Iron Maidens. So this too will be your future. I don't care if you do them indoors or outdoors. It literally doesn't matter. What matters is that you're going out with warm joints instead of starting things totally cold. Because some of the things we're going to do to warm up your joints also fire up your fast twitch muscles. So we add 5 minutes of drills to the very beginning of each run, even if that means you have to cut 5 minutes off the run. I don't care. These tertiary elements that we're adding in for 5 minutes, I would rather you always cut 5 minutes off the run. And which part of the run? Either the warm-up or the hard stuff in the middle. Never cut the cool down, ever, for any reason. Cool down is where the magic happens. You want all the magic possible. Do not cut the cool down. I don't care if you just have to trust me on that. So with all those drills designed for the faster turnover, the better warm-up, the faster leg turnover, firing up those fast twitch muscles, recruiting them to slow twitch muscles, which sounds really inefficient, but not really. We need all the oxygen metalysis humanly possible when we're going out for 50 fucking miles. So very high level, this is what you're going to be facing going forward. I'm building it out right now and will deploy it directly into your training peaks when you guys have all assured me that you're ready to go and aren't going to feel punished if you say, Wednesday I'll be fine. Then you're not fine on Wednesday, and then we have to start on Friday or Saturday and you already feel behind. And we need to minimize all that. If you miss a run, you just keep going. We don't make up runs ever. We are not going to start now. You're going to get what you need every step of the way, because the stuff that we need the most is going to be the drills that come at the beginning of your workout. Those will not decrease. Those will not increase, right? We're going to get you up to maybe 7 minutes total of drills over time that you're going to be doing as your warm-ups for 3 to 4 days a week, with some drills that are performed every single day without question. And those drills are what's going to be adding up that compounding interest paid over time. That's going to lead to greatness. It's not a single workout. It's going to be the consistency of getting some of the most important elements in. And normally I don't like to talk about which run is the most important, which element is the most important, because then that implicitly gives you permission to miss shit. Because we're all smart. Well, I'm only going to do the most important runs. I don't want no jump miles on the quality, everyday quality miles. And I just get so mad at that bullshit. Because just do what I say to do or change your goal. I don't fucking care. But these drills are always going to be more potent than 5 minutes of running. If you don't have 65 minutes and you truly only have 60 and getting up 5 minutes earlier is not possible, cool. Get your drills done, shave 5 minutes off the run anywhere other than the cool down. And do not ever, if it's a stride sandwich, do not ever cut the strides. Strides and pickups do not count as quality or speed. They are just important. And you must take them. So, like, if you ever, like, well, I decided just to make it a recovery sandwich and make it a recovery run instead of a stride sandwich, I'm going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? All right, so we're not going to do that. You're going to keep that in there. The strides are the key to everything distance running wise. They are one of the most important things you can do if you truly want to get more efficient or faster. And the reason it's efficient is because you don't wear yourself out doing strides. It's a controlled jog with the controlled pickup and speed, holding around 5K pace, no faster, with the controlled deceleration. That's why I call them accelerators when they're at the end, because you focus on the acceleration, the hold, and the deceleration. It is not a 20-second sprint. And the magic of that, by the way, is in that controlled deceleration. Again, something no one ever, and it's something you cheat yourself out of. You cheat yourself out of the point of that workout when you treat an accelerator or a stride as a sprint, thinking more is better because it isn't less. Yay, I ran more hard. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So all that just to say, like, don't, I don't want you to stress too much, and I don't want you to get overly excited, and I don't want you rewriting the training plan with harder stuff, because what I'm going to give you is plenty hard. Just go with it. Trust me. And if you need to overachieve, get up 5 minutes earlier so you can do the whole fucking run instead of worrying about being constrained for time and having to cut out the drills. Okay? Yay! Your coach are loved. I hope you are winning at your flight home. I hope you are winning at nachos and amaretto sours or whatever your taste is. I hope you are celebrating right now. All of that hard work and the work you did was ridiculous. It's not going to get less ridiculous going forward. I assure you the strength is going to get weird, real weird. You're going to love that squish ball. And you're gonna hate that squish ball. We're still gonna keep some of the desk series throughout the day, but you're also gonna have very quick things that we need to do at the end of the run. Other little elements that are also drills, even if I don't call them drills, that I'm gonna be peppering in throughout the day and throughout the run. I will not be sticking them all in your training peaks. I will be giving you more of a chart. I'm working on that now. Like that and making my website colorblind friendly are the two things I'm working on today. But I digress. If you read my Nuzzle newsletter or saw my Facebook page, my Coach MK Facebook page, you know why. But all that just to say that is what I'm going to be working on today to make this as easy to read and easy to digest as possible, because I don't want you to get overwhelmed. And Susan, I apologize. I know you've been overwhelmed and you felt behind, and that's partially me, because I'll send an email and think I've laid it all out, and then I totally get how if I don't repeat all of that information, that it can get distilled or lost because I throw a lot at you guys. So I own that, and I'm sorry. I'm going to try to make this easier going forward, but if ever there is a doubt what to do, let me know. The problem is that when I put all of these elements as individual workouts into Training Peaks, that's also a whole sea of red one that's going to be staring at you, and that's work to have to go in and correct 3 minute, 2 minute, 30 seconds, right? That's a pain in the ass that nobody needs. All you need to know is like this is what you do, and it needs to get done. It's also a pain in the butt if I put it in Training Peaks, and it makes Training Peaks really hard to look at. Not to mention that as these runs get longer, and if I were to put it all in there might be 7 elements that you need to do in one day. That's going to be in an email this long, and that is going to get really intimidating really quickly, and I don't want that for you guys. So you've done amazing things. We've got more badass shit coming your way. You are coached. You are loved. Coach is proud. Enjoy these next few days. Rest hard. Recover hard. Remember, go to my Facebook page. The recovery, work don't need you to like it. Recovery and resting is part of training. Anything that you lose, we will get back, because you guys are machines that are already ready to cover the distance. Enjoy the rest of your day.